Mike with Hunt Fish Shoot. Today we're back out here and I want to show you guys a little something different. This could be a patrol rifle setup and something to think about with the recent events and things that have occurred with active shooter situations. So today we will go over a patrol rifle setup for myself, and then we'll go over some thoughts that you guys can think about. But if you like the video today, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been
To go over my patrol rifle setup, let's first start with what I have here. This is a Troy Defense. This is a 16-inch mid-length setup. It has a somewhat heavier profile barrel on there, 1-7 twist, 5.56, pretty standard stuff as far as that goes. Bought this rifle out of the box for about $1,000. It is my rifle that goes around inside my patrol car every single day with me. It does have some upgrades and some things that I think are must-haves if you're gonna have a rifle as a patrol rifle or a duty rifle and have it especially ready for an active shooter situation. So let's get into it. A couple of the big things that I definitely wanna hit on is gonna be your optic. It is 2021. If you have a patrol rifle with nothing but iron sights on it, you need to reevaluate your life decisions. If you're going to take this rifle out of your car and use it at a self-defense type situation, duty situation, even really home defense or an active shooter if you're a police officer, you need something that's gonna give you an advantage. And then to get into the optic, if you want to use a low power variable optic, that is absolutely okay. It's just you need to know how to operate that LPVO. If you don't, and you're gonna use a red dot, you're gonna put a red dot on your rifle that it's gonna be something you can trust your life to. Holosun, SIG, Vortex, they all make really great red dots. There's nothing wrong with them. But there's two that come to my mind that are proven in battle, whether it be even competition and also law enforcement SWAT usage. And that's gonna be Aimpoint and Trijicon. Holosun's also out there, and I'll get into that here in a second. I have nothing against Holosun. The issue I have with it is that if you're gonna pull that gun out, you can't necessarily leave a Holosun on for an extended period of time like you can the MRO I have on my rifle or your Aimpoints. And that's an issue because again, you're gonna go back to your trunk or get it out of your rack inside your car to get it out in a last minute situation where you have to go save somebody's life. So if you have to get out and you have to turn your optic on, I do not care for that. Again, that's a little bit personal preference. If you think you're somebody that, you know, when crap's hitting the fan and bullets are flying and there's people inside the grocery store dying, and you think you can go back to your car and you remember to do everything you have to do, load your rifle, turn on your optic, and then go to battle, think again, because it's gonna change. So for me, I have an MRO on this. This optic has been flawless for myself. I've carried it on this rifle now for nearly 5 years. It stays on all the time. It's always bright enough. I leave it on the 4 setting for myself, and I change the batteries out every year. Granted, it's never dim or anything like that. The reason I change it out every year is because I'm trusting my life and the citizens I serve, their lives, to this rifle. So I always change my red dot batteries, but that's to say that this could be left on. Aimpoint obviously also makes a great optic. Between the two of them, if you wanted my opinion, I would say to get Aimpoint or the MRO from Trijicon and carry that on your duty rifle. Again, you can get the other ones. The Holosuns are really good red dots. They've proven a lot of stuff, but you're proving your life to something and you need to be trusting your red dot, all right? Iron sights, you have to have backup iron sights on your rifle. It's a requirement for our agency, and 100% it's something you have to have. I have Magpul flip-ups on here. They work just fine. A red dot could fail and I could have standard iron sights. That's also okay. An A2 front sight post is fine, but you have to have iron sights on your duty or your fighting rifle. For me then, another big thing, obviously, is you want to have a sling on there. Whether you want to use a 2-point sling or you want to use a 1-point sling, there's nothing wrong. That's a personal preference and it's what you feel is comfortable. For me, I like the 2-point system because with a 2-point sling, when it's mounted on you, it's hanging on you, it stays nice and close to your body. It doesn't flop around like a single point does. But again, that's also personal preference. Again, you always got to have those. So a good optic and a sling, in my opinion, are the two most important things you can have on that rifle. Next is you're going to need a good charging handle. The standard mil-spec charging handle is lackluster. On here, I have a BCM large latch charging handle, and charging this rifle is super easy with that, and it makes it really nice. Whether you want an ambi one or you just want a single side one, it doesn't matter. I just recommend you upgrade from having a standard mil-spec charging handle. BCM makes great ones. Radian obviously is out there, and there's a lot of really good manufacturers. In the arms race of 2021, where everybody wants to make a good AR and parts, is good for everybody. Next, everybody seems to think that you have to change your trigger out. You don't have to. You can shoot a mil-spec trigger just fine. For quite a few years, I used a standard mil-spec trigger on my AR, and then I switched it out because I wanted something better that suits my needs and what I can do. If you're somebody that has to have a mil-spec because you're not sure about trigger control or you just don't have the training waivers, I would recommend just a mil-spec. If you're somebody that trains with your rifle and you shoot it a lot, okay, and you want something better, obviously Geisley, CMC, triggers could go on for days. Rise Armament also makes a good one. There's a lot out there, and I know I'm forgetting them. So don't beat me up over that too bad in the comments. But for me, I have a CMC. It's a 2-stage, 4.5 pound trigger. I like the 2-stage actually for myself. I wasn't sure how I would like it, so I tried it a little bit, and I do like it because I can actually pull through that stage, hit the wall, and pull even further if I have to make that shot. And then after you got all those things on there, you'll see obviously I have a grip on here, which I don't really use very much myself. It's not something you have to have. You know, a lot of guys think you have to have a grip. It's not. For me, I use it mostly as an indexing point for my tape strip on my Streamlight here. This is a Streamlight TLR HL. It's a perfect light. It's about $110. I've changed the batteries out in it one time, not because they were dead, just because I wanted my light to be ready if I had to use it. It stays, it's just a really good overall light, throws a good beam out there. It's bright, easy to use, and Streamlight makes a quality product. Streamlight, Surefire, both of those obviously are very good lights and they're well trusted. Again, like I said, you don't have to have a grip. I just have it on there mostly for myself as an index point for when I get up here on the front of my rifle. Outside of that, everything else in this rifle is pretty stock. It's a standard M16 bolt carrier on this Troy Defense. I have a BCM collapsible stock on here, which I really like just because it's easy to adjust because you just grip it with a whole hand. It's not a little lever or anything like that. And for me, it works good, but you know, Magpul makes tons of great stuff. If we're gonna get past even further than all that stuff is your magazine choice. If you're gonna use magazines, I don't care what you use, just make sure they're of good quality. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the hex mags. I've had issues with them. So outside of that, Lancers seem to be great, as do Magpul stuff. Both of them are proven. They both are very good. And obviously your standard USGI mags are fine too. Recommend getting the ones with the upgrade follower, but also a very good magazine. Outside of all that stuff, that's kind of a quick overview of it. So I'll shoot it a little bit today for you guys too. And then another thing I want to get into is I've seen it now with other officers and things like that, that they put a massive muzzle brake on here, okay? We're talking about a rifle you're gonna have to shoot indoors most likely. You could shoot it outdoors obviously, but if you're going to an active shooter, it's gonna be indoors most likely. Outside of that, you're shooting it next to your buddies on the qualifying range or something like that, and you shoot a muzzle brake next to your friends and they're gonna hate you. They're loud, and in my opinion, on a duty rifle, they do a really good job, but they're a little bit unnecessary. So on this one, I actually have a BCM Mod 0 compensator. It's pretty much a hybrid between a flash hider and a comp, and it does not have that huge concussive force that you get with some of the larger port muzzle brakes you have out there. So think about that when you're doing it. It will work just fine. Obviously, if you have to go and save people's lives, there's nothing wrong with having that muzzle brake, but it's something you got to think about of what it's going to do to your hearing when it goes off, especially indoors, or when you're shooting it on the range next to your friends, because again, they're going to hate you when you shoot it next to them. So outside of that, again, just get a good quality rifle, a good optic, get a better charging handle on there, get yourself a flashlight on there. Again, Streamlight or Surefire, I don't care which one, just get one of the two. And between all those things, you can have a really good setup for a patrol rifle to throw in your trunk inside the rack by your front seat, or somebody for home defense or whatever it is that you want to have, or a truck gun, and you'll be set to go. So let's go shoot a little bit. All right, guys, just shot this gun a little bit for you today just so you can kind of see it in action. Again, I really like my setup. ARs, the best part about them is the customization you can do. So if it's gonna be your rifle, set it up best for you. Just remember some of the things that I talked about and some points to think about, whether it be your red dot, the iron sights, and a sling especially, and also getting a flashlight on there. Outside of that, guys, if you like what you saw today, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and follow along next time with Hunt, Fish, Shoot.